Jai Hind, dear students. Today I am here with a topic control and coordination in plants. So plants, like animals, have nervous system for control and coordination, but you will find that plants neither have nervous system nor muscles. So plants show following movements like germination of seeds, stems growing up, roots moving down, leaves of sensitive plants moving quickly or ripening of fruits. All these activities or movements are shown by plants. But if plants don't have nervous system nor they have muscles, then the question arises how plants coordinate. So we are going to study how plants coordinate and we are going to solve some questions related to this topic. Let's move ahead. So plants control and coordination are carried out by specialized diffusible chemical which is known as plant hormone. And these plant hormones are also known as phytohormones. So the control and coordination are done in plants through chemical called plant hormones or phytohormones. And these hormones are synthesized by different tissues in very small amounts and get transported to a specific part where it stimulates a physiological change. There are 5 hormones or phytohormones found in plants and they serve various functions, and let us move ahead with those 5 hormones. The very first is auxin, and auxin, this hormone is the plant detects light, then these hormones are synthesized, that is auxins are synthesized, and they are synthesized in the shoot tip and diffuse towards the shaded region and help the cell to grow long. So they diffuse in the shaded region, right? They are synthesized at the tip, but as the plant detects the light, this auxin, they move towards the shaded part of the plant, that is the part of the plant away from the light. As you will see, when the sun is overhead, then auxins, they get distributed evenly to all the sides of the plant and the plant grows very steadily in the specific direction. But when you see that the plant receives the light from one part and the other part is shaded, then all the auxin molecules, they move towards the shaded part, that is the part away from the light. And there the auxin stimulates the cells to grow longer on the side of the shoot which is in shade or away from the light, and thus the plants bend because the part away from the light moves or grows faster as compared to the plant that is towards the light. So when sunlight hits from a side, auxin moves to the shaded side and induces the cell elongation. This is how the hormone auxin works. Now coming on to the next hormone, that is gibberellin. These gibberellins, they work in presence of auxin hormone only, and they promote cell elongation, enlargement and differentiation. The cells here, they enlarge and they differentiate into various parts. They promote fruit growth, elongation of shoots, and in breaking the dormancy in seeds, like the seeds are in resting phase, so gibberellins, they break their resting phase and help the seed in germination, and also they break the dormancy in the buds. So this was the function of gibberellin. Coming on to the next hormone, that is cytokinins. They promote cell division in plants. They promote cell division. And they also promote the opening of the stomata. Only they help in opening of stomata, and also they delay the aging in leaves. The leaves getting dried or the leaves getting aged, this process is delayed in the leaves because of the hormone cytokinins. So if cytokinin is released or if the cytokinin is synthesized, then it helps in more mitosis, and this more mitosis then helps in growth of more cells, formation of more cells, and then this more cells helps in plant growth. So this is how all these 3 hormones help in promoting growth. So auxins, gibberellins and cytokinins are growth stimulator hormones. So what are the 3 growth stimulator hormones? They are auxins, gibberellins and cytokinins. So they promote the growth. Coming on to next hormone, that is abscisic acid. Abscisic acid, also known as ABA, it promotes dormancy of seeds. See, this promotes dormancy. It makes the seed dormant or brings the seed in resting stage. Also, it promotes dormancy in buds. It also promotes the closing of stomata. So, it helps in closing of stomata. Abscisic acid, if it is released, then stomata will be stimulated to get closed. Wilting of leaves, that is the what you say, the bending of leaves or the formation of leaves, that is the curling of leaves in absence of water. Then falling of leaves, detachment of fruit and flower from the plants. So these all activities are the functions of abscisic acid, and it has an inhibition function, that is it inhibits the growth of the plant, रोक देता है plant के growth को. Then coming on to the next hormone, that is ethylene, and it is the only gaseous hormone present in the plant. It promotes fruit ripening, stimulates release of dormancy, and again causes leaf and flower senescence and abscission. Senescence, see, पीला पड़ना. So it helps in senescence and abscission of leaf and flower. So these two hormones, abscisic acid and ethylene, are growth inhibitor hormone. They stop growth. They don't help in growing, or they don't move the activity towards the growth. So now coming on to the movements in plant, those were the hormones that help in various functions and activities. Plants also show various movements like trophic movement, which are growth dependent movement. Like these type of movements are growth, they are associated with growth. And another type of movement is the nastic movement. They are known as non-growth dependent movement or growth independent movements. So now first let us see the movements which are growth dependent. They are phototropism, that is the stimulus here is light and they either move towards the light or away of the light. So it shows negative phototropism and positive phototropism. Similarly, geotropism, here the stimulating activity is gravity, and example is the growth of the root into the soil, and it is again the positive and negative geotropism, where root is positive geotropic and shoots are the growth of the shoot is the negative geotropism. Example of negative geotropism. Then comes hydrotropism, where the stimulant is water, and because of this the presence of water, the movement is forwarded. Then coming on to chemotropism, that is the movement which is towards the chemicals, and the example here is of the pollen tube moving towards the ovule. Next is thigmotropism, which has the stimulation of touch, and because of touch what happens is the movement takes place. As you can see in the tendrils, the stimulation of the touch of the support makes the tendrils move and curl around it. Now coming on to the next movement, that is nastic movement, which is also known as growth independent or non-growth dependent movement. This movement in plants, they are not directional movements. They don't move in any specific direction, whether towards the stimulus or against the stimulus. They are not dependent on stimulus and are growth independent. And the example you will find is the leaf of a touch me not plant, which is also known as Mimosa pudica, fold up immediately when it is touched. So these kinds of changes, how it happens, how these kind of changes take place, these kind of changes occur due to the changes in the amount of water. See, it is not exactly in the direction, or the movement is not taking exactly in direction of the stimulus which is touched, but when it is touched, the amount of water in the leaf, the changes, and depending on the quantity, they sometimes swell or shrink, and because of this the movement takes place when Mimosa pudica plant is touched. So this movement is nastic movement or non-growth dependent movement. Now The question arises, how does a touch me not plant respond on touching? And what is this movement called? If this question comes, you need to answer in this way. Touch me not plant folds its leaflet on touching. Folds its leaflets on touching, and this type of movement is called growth independent movement, which is nastic movement. Then next question, what is chemotropism? Give one example. Name any two hormones and mention their functions. So chemotropism actually is the movement of a part of the plant in response to a chemical stimulus. Any chemical stimulus, if there exists, then the movement that is towards or against that chemical stimulus is known as chemotropism. It can be positive. When the movement is towards the chemical stimulus, it is known as positive chemotropism, and when it is against the chemical stimulus, then it is negative chemotropism. The example of positive chemotropism is the growth of pollen tube towards a chemical which is produced by an ovule during the process of fertilization in a flower, as it is very much clear that pollen tube moves towards the direction of the ovule, and it is because of the chemical. Now the example of negative chemotropism is plant roots, which show negative chemotropism as they move away from some harmful acids. So this is the answer you're going to write for the question if this question is asked. Now coming on to the next question, how does chemical coordination occur in plants? Explain with the help of three examples. Here I have given some examples, not only three, so you can choose any. In plants, chemical coordination occurs through various phytohormones, and these phytohormones you can write the name like auxins, gibberellins, cytokinins, ethylene or abscisic acid. Now the second part of the question is written in this way. Now explain with the help of three examples. So you can take any three. Auxins, they are secreted by the growing tissues and they provide growth in the plants. Second is example is gibberellin. They cause stem elongation, seed germination and flowering. Cytokinin, present in areas of actively dividing cells like fruits and seeds. They also promote cell division. Abscisic acid, it inhibits growth and responds to environmental stress. So this is the answer to this question. Now next question is, name a plant hormone that promotes growth, and how does it promote the growth of a tendril around a support? The answer is, auxin promotes growth in plants. This is the part answer. The first question is answered, auxins promote growth in plants. Now the second part is answered in this way. They are synthesized in the shoot tip of the plant as discussed earlier. These auxins are synthesized in the tip of the plant, and when the plant tendril touches when it comes in contact with the support, the auxins at the tip of the tendril stimulates faster. Faster and stimulate faster growth of the cells, thus making the tendril grow faster and have a coiled appearance. So auxins at the tip of the tendril, they stimulate the growth of the cells, and this makes the tendril grow very faster and coiled appearance. Now, what are plant hormones, and name the plant hormone responsible for the following. So these are the following cases, and first part is, plant hormones are organic substances which are produced within the plant. You need to write this. Plant hormones are organic substances produced within the plant. They are also known as phytohormones or signal molecules. They regulate plant growth and development, and they affect seed growth, time of flowering and senescence of leaves and flowers, tissue growth, either upward or downward. So the first part of the question should be answered in this way, and the next part is these four particular events are there, and you have to name the plant hormone. So first, growth of stem take place. It is the hormone which is responsible for growth of stem is gibberellin, where you will find the elongation is there, cell elongation is there. Then promotion of cell division, cytokinins, inhibition of growth, abscisic acid, and elongation of cell is auxins. So this is all about the hormones which perform all these activities. Then coming on to the next question, what is the difference between the manner in which movement takes place in sensitive plant and the movement in our legs? If such question is asked, the answer is this. The first point, as the movement in sensitive plant occurs in response to exterior or interior stimulus. Okay, any stimulus which is external or internal, it is the source, and the movement is because of this stimulus, and these movements can be tropic or can be nastic movement. But when you find the movement in the legs, so the movement which takes place in the legs of human beings is under the regulation of nervous system. So it is because of nervous system. Then second point, this movement can be described as an involuntary action, whereas here the movement can be described as a voluntary action. Then this process does not involve any special tissues for any flow of information or relay of information. So in plants there is no any special tissue for any information relay or any proceeding of information. Whereas here in animals or in human, the movement of leg is assisted by complex network of nervous system that includes central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. Because of this complex network, the movement of leg is taking place. Then any type of specialized protein is not involved in the movement taking place in sensitive plants. Whereas the process of contraction and relaxation of leg muscles to carry about movement in legs is supported by different specific proteins, and these proteins are actin, myosin, etc. So this is the way you are going to answer this type of question. Thank you.